Welcome to part 2 of Sunday Lunch, Star Wars.
Right, can I talk about Kylo Ren now?
Go for it.
Yeah.
What do you think of him?
So Kylo Ren, as far as I'm concerned, he's probably the most interesting element of the film, in my opinion. And it's like I said earlier, Darth Vader is such a big, iconic villain. And that is why people like Liam, and there's nothing wrong with this, it's completely natural, they have this big image built up in their heads of what they want a Star Wars villain to be.
Yeah.
And that is like, he should wear a black mask, he should be really tall, he should be really scary, he should be a total badass. Like, it's all these tick boxes, you know, that you expect a Star Wars villain to fulfill.
Liam's agreeing.
And that is completely natural. And essentially, to begin with, Kylo Ren, he does tick these boxes because he is really intimidating. He is really tall. He does wear a black mask.
Yeah.
He does have a big, scary red lightsaber, so on and so forth. And he can also do even this really cool stuff that Darth Vader can never do. He can stop like blaster bolts in midair just through the sheer energy of his mind. Yeah. Because he's that powerful. But then, throughout the film, you start getting these cracks in this, like, persona, this, like, strong persona. So you'll see that he, like, throws tantrums when he gets news he doesn't like. And he'll literally slash apart equipment. Yeah. Because he's just so completely enraged. And you're like, hang on, doesn't this guy know what he's doing? Isn't he, like, holding it together? Yeah. And, like, it's, like, the first sign that this person isn't who he's presenting himself as. And then, essentially, as it goes on, they deconstruct him more and more. And then you get to the scene that Liam mentioned, which is where he takes the mask off. Yeah. Basically, he takes the mask off, and underneath, he's actually quite pretty. he has, like, he's played by Adam Driver, who has, like, an unusual face. But they've basically done everything they can to, like, prettify him. It looks like he's probably wearing lipstick, even. Like, subtle man movie lipstick. It's not like he's wearing, like, crimson lips or anything.
Yeah. But not matching his lightsaber then.
Yeah, exactly. He's clearly made up. And his hair is curled. Yeah. And if you look at him in behind-the-scenes footage, you would see that his hair was braided in order to create this curled effect when it was unbraided. And generally he pouts and he preens and he's like, oh, la la, I'm impressing you. Because he's with the main heroine at this point.
Okay,
and is like, are you trying to impress this girl? This is very strange. And essentially, it completely breaks with the script of what you expect a Star Wars villain to be. Yeah. And suddenly, at that point, he's not scary, or at least he's not scary in the way that Darth Vader is scary. Because the whole point with Darth Vader is that there's something unknowable about him. He always keeps the mask on until the very last moment in Return of the Jedi, when he's redeemed and you see his true face.
I think from what you said about Kylo Ren, it basically sounds like they followed on from the whole villain idea that has seeped into society about how a villain isn't just a villain, there's always something underneath. Yeah. And it looks like they've completely gone right with that through that vein and just cracked it open and gone, here you go, he actually is someone else. Yeah. they've just gone, there's no pretense anymore of there could be something else. Yeah. This is who he actually is.
I've talked about this before. It's a trend that's gone on with stories now. You can't just have people who are
you see it with Loki. Loki is another one that's come up where like, there's something underneath though. Yeah. And
you can't have irredeemable
it sounds
bad
like they
guys
cracked
anymore.
it
People
wide
don't
open with Star Wars. So Liam doesn't explode because he's being very good. He agreed not to speak over Rachel.
Okay, so Liam,
why don't you like Kylo Ren?
Because I think the film as a whole suffers without having a villain, like a stronger villain. When he loses that aura, suddenly we don't have a main antagonist anymore. We have almost someone human. And there's nothing to really drive against.
Do you think it affected the plot?
This is the thing that might redeem it for me. Now, at the moment, we only know episode 7. If there's a longer story arc with the character changes, you could rewatch that film and go, oh yeah, that makes sense now. But if it was to be, say, a standalone film and there wasn't, it made zero sense for me for him to do that.
To take the mask off?
Yeah, to take the mask off. If it was just a standalone film. As part of a longer story arc, it could be better. But
And I think that's the whole point, because you've got to remember that this isn't like what happened when they first made the original Star Wars in 1977. George Lucas did not make that thinking he was going to be making films what turned out to be 5 and 6.
Yeah.
He made Star Wars as a standalone film. There wasn't any intention to make further sequels. There wasn't any intention to make Darth Vader Luke's father. And now, obviously, there's always been the intention of this new trilogy to make it the first film of 3 films.
Yeah.
So my feeling is that if they're putting all this effort into showing you the villain as someone who's actually human and someone who's vulnerable, and they're desperately trying to be evil and desperately trying to reach up to this standard set by Darth Vader, but they're failing, they're falling short.
Yeah.
And I think if they're showing that character with his human face in the first film of this new trilogy, then that indicates that there's going to be an interesting journey for this character going forward. Because they can't really realistically put the mask back on the whole time, like going forward. They can't have him wear the mask for all of episode 8, for example, because we all know what's underneath that mask. So I'm sure he'll wear the mask again. But the whole point would be that we know exactly what he is underneath that.
Yeah.
And we know that there's more to it than just this like blank, expressionless mask.
Filling out the character, basically. Isn't
it?
Exactly.
And
making sure he's not just 2D.
Yeah, but Darth Vader wasn't 2D. It depends on the writing as well.
Yeah, but Darth Vader, was he 2D? Did he become a full character because of the prequels, so you know his story, or was he actually good enough?
No, because his journey during the later films was different as well. Because you said about the mask, there's a tiny bit where you see the back of his head because he's in a pod, and you're introduced to essentially his master, which is this Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah.
And he sort of, when he's fighting Luke, and then we get the big reveal that he's his father, and then Return of the Jedi, his character changes. He starts coming back because they say, look, we know who you are.
Yeah.
I've heard your story. I know what you are. Come back to the light, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because his character subtly changes.
Okay.
He's still quite dark and evil in Return of the Jedi, but it's a slight change towards the end of the film. There's slightly more human aspects to him, but he didn't take off his mask at all. For me, this is... Well, I could be completely wrong. Come episode 8 and 9, it could be one of the greatest character turns ever, and it could be masterful, and then I'm basically eating humble pie. But for me at the moment, I just thought it was too soon.
Okay.
Too soon. But given the plot that they used, technically it hasn't
But do you
happened.
not think it would have been foolish of them to try and simply recreate Darth Vader?
Yeah.
Because they couldn't.
Yeah, technically,
You can't just have another Darth Vader. It doesn't work.
Actually, speaking of having another Darth Vader, it turns out I was actually, because having not seen The Force Awakens, just the little snippets and the trailers and things I've seen and read about, I was always under the impression that it was a bit of a history repeating itself thing. And Rachel, you've actually written down here that it is like history repeating itself. And in my mind, I don't know why, it just came, I just ended up thinking, it makes me think of The Lion King with all this different, and then history repeats itself.
Yeah.
Well,
and actually, that also made me think that now the owners of Star Wars have changed.
Yeah.
Do you think that having changed it, because it's Disney now who owns them, do you think that has changed how the plot and everything is done?
No, that's definitely an element of it. I think I wrote down history repeated itself purely as like crib.
Yeah.
Because...
Well, I mean, it's what I said, it's what I thought as well, just by watching snippets. So I was like, oh, okay, I got that right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like Liam says, in many respects, The Force Awakens is a remake of A New Hope.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about The Force Awakens is how it diverges and how it does things differently.
Yeah,
and that's
not
why...
like a step-for-step repeat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's why Kylo Ren in particular is one of the most interesting parts of it.
Do you think it's been Disneyfied at all, though?
I don't think it's been Disneyfied at all.
Apart from BB-8. I mean, BB-8 is your typical Disney character.
BB-8 is a droid.
Yeah,
BB-8
he's like
is
a
very
cute
cute.
little.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I don't think you could avoid seeing him on the internet.
BB-8 was everywhere.
He's everywhere on the
internet.
Yeah, no, I think
he comes under the banner of Disney Horse, surely.
Yes, basically.
I think that Lucasfilm, which is the production company that makes Star Wars, is very much to Disney what Marvel is to Disney.
Right.
So you don't see like Black Widow wearing like a black princess dress. In the Avengers movies, even though those films are owned by Disney technically.
Yeah.
And that's because while they're nominally owned by Disney and Disney raking the cash from them, like they are still very much their own entity with their own like feelings.
So I know it was one of those things that everyone was worried about. They're like, how can Disney take it on? And,
probably a bit better than the prequels.
Yeah.
Even if they went in like full Disney mode, you know, solid dance routines.
Like Ray singing in the desert, happy and lonely.
Yeah, that would have been quite cool.
So we've got another sequel coming up in December, and I mean, there's a possibility we have more prequels.
It's not the sequel in December; it's Rogue One in December.
Well, okay, you've got
the next film.
You've got more series coming, more Star Wars series coming out. So, but I mean, it could be a prequel, sequel, according to your weird chronological timeline. So, do you think that any of the future films will measure up to The Force Awakens, or any of the others, for that matter?
I think when it comes to the original trilogy, they are standalone. I don't think it's going to have to be something pretty special to match them. Now, whether I'm putting them up on a pedestal or not, I don't know. But I think it would be almost unfair to compare them.
Yeah.
Because they were made at a different time. They were made in a different way, whereas these, as you said, are being made as a trilogy. So it could be that, as a trilogy, it might be better, but compared to the quality of the other three films and how they come together, it might not match up. And
the adoring place that people hold them in.
And nostalgia is so heavy for the original trilogy. It's like so overpowering. Like, and you can tell that The Force Awakens obviously felt indebted to that audience.
Right.
Like in the promotion for Force Awakens, there's endlessly the line saying we're using all practical effects, because they wanted to make it clear that everything was real, like it was in the original trilogy, not CGI like it was in the prequels. So that was very, very important to their marketing campaign. But as for the question, Rogue One in December, I'm really worried about it, to be honest.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I've heard lots of very, very worrying things about that film.
Okay.
I've heard that, like, basically there's been lots of interference in post-production.
Right.
So they'd filmed all the film, but then they watched it, and for whatever reason they decided it wasn't working or it wasn't right. And they sent them back to do reshoots.
Wow.
And basically there's been lots of efforts to play down these reshoots.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to know who to believe exactly, because you have like certain trade magazines publishing articles, but they're obviously in Disney's pocket. Yeah. If that makes sense. Oh, it's fine, it's completely normal. Yeah. And then you have other reports.
Reshoots aren't that uncommon.
Yeah, no, they're not.
They're not uncommon, but it's expensive as well.
And the thing is, with Rogue One, it's the scale of the reshoots. Because it's been
expensive to reshoot something like that.
Reported by not just one source, several sources, that they've reshot like 40 to 50 minutes of the film.
Wow.
And that is not normal.
That is
about half of the film.
Yeah.
So that indicates that there were serious problems and that they're working like mad, essentially, to try and get out something that they're happy with. So it might all be fine. This might have been absolutely the right call, like to do these reshoots and to try again. But it just makes me worried because I haven't seen Suicide Squad and I have no interest in seeing Suicide Squad.
Oh, it's awful.
But it's meant to be awful.
It sounded like one of those that was so over promoted. It was a bit.
And that was also a film where it was completely redone in reshoots.
Was
essentially,
it?
They refilmed great tracks of it.
Wow.
So I'm automatically very suspicious about anything that's undergone extensive reshoots like that.
Completely forgotten the film I was thinking about, but I know there's a film that I really like. That is completely escaping me what film it is, but they did a lot of reshoots with it and basically changed a fairly big chunk of the story. No, I'm not gonna be able to think of it now. I mean, but they changed a big chunk of it and it worked.
Could be for any number of reasons. It could have been the equipment wasn't working correctly, quite up to scratch, and it didn't quite record it correctly, or it could be
they would have caught
issues or
stuff. No, if it was equipment, they'd have caught it during the shoot.
I suppose. But there could be any number of reasons they're redoing it.
I'm still looking forward to it, but I think there is a lot of worry behind it.
I mean, it could simply be they're reshooting it because of the reception on their first foray and with the new film, and the reception of that kind of gone, well, they like that, but then
maybe we should adjust this a bit
slightly differently to go with.
Because originally it was supposedly a very dark story.
Well, you could also have the fact that maybe they've got something else lined up for the future, and they've gone, wait, we need to change that so it matches up with something that we want to do later.
The thing with Rogue One, it's a prequel to Episode 4, so it's almost like Episode 3
That could be the reason for reshoots, because all it would take is something slightly out, and fans will jump on it.
Yeah, it could be somebody's pointed out that you've missed something glaringly obvious here.
Yeah.
I think that the most likely reason it's been reshot now is because I think they rushed it.
Yeah.
Because I think
they are very quick, one after the other.
Disney and Lucasfilm, basically, when they brought this, they wanted to start making money from it very quickly.
Yeah.
So they basically pushed J.J. Abrams to get The Force Awakens out for December 2015, which he managed. It was really good, so that worked well. But then, obviously, there was the same pressure to get another film, Rogue One, for December 2016. I think they started filming before they even had the script completely finalised.
Wow. Yeah.
Because I think there's like 5-6 names being associated with the script.
That's quite a lot to ask.
Not a good sign.
Yeah.
That's a lot to ask.
Yeah. In which case, reshoots probably might be the best thing that's happened to it.
It might be, yeah.
I think the reshoots are probably to try and make it more cohesive.
Yeah.
Because I think it probably had too many chefs. And I think now they're looking at what they have and they're stepping back from it and they're thinking, okay, it's missing this, and this.
Yeah, it's probably finally all of it been put into one person's hands and they've gone, what have you given me?
Yeah. Probably.
That's probably what it is.
Disney executives have watched it and gone, what have we done?
Yes. Like, if you want a decent movie, you're going to have to give us the time.
Yeah. But in terms of future films, I'm much more excited for Episode 8. And that's mainly because I'm so attached to all these new characters now. Yeah. I'm attached to Rey,
lot of people
Finn,
said
and Kylo.
Yeah, they really
exactly. And that's the story I'm really engaged in. Because for me, Rogue One, it's basically the premise of Rogue One is that it's about the team that stole the plans to the original Death Star, which is the big death machine that Luke Skywalker blows up in Episode 4. So it's very much like the prequels in that you know exactly how that film is going to end.
Yeah.
You know it's going to end with the rebels getting the plans to Princess Leia. It has a fixed ending and that cannot be changed. Like, obviously the journey to that ending is what the selling point is. It's like, okay, so what exactly happened there?
But it's kind of academic at that point.
Yeah, exactly. It's academic. And to me, it doesn't really matter because I know at the end of the day how that story is going to end. But I do not know how the stories of Rey, Finn and Kylo are going to end. So that's why that is so much more intriguing to me.
So, just got a couple more questions, and I'm going to force from you. We'll go force. Yes. I'm going to force from you a favourite.
In your punning.
I didn't even realise I'd done it.
This is not the Star Wars fan over here.
No. I want each of you to give me your favourite out of the entire Star Wars series. Your favourite episode. We'll
quite briefly what your favourite is. Because
I want one. You
have no discussing all of them on the way there.
To give you a chance to think, I'm going to ask Kirsty first because she does have a favourite out of the 3 she's watched.
Yes, of the 3 I've seen. You know, Episode 4 is my favourite.
Good choice.
Why do you like it?
I don't know. As I found out today, it was filmed as a standalone film, and it is a nice little encapsulated adventure where they go off and there's Han Solo yelling at people, and it's great fun.
Also, just a historical aside: when A New Hope first came out, it was not called A New Hope.
Okay.
If you went into the cinema in 1977 to watch it, this title screen just said the words Star Wars.
Really?
That was it. That was all it was called.
Yeah,
there was no number. There was no A New Hope. They were added, I think, when it was re-released in 1980.
Okay.
So, they were still early, but not original.
I'm going reverse order. So, Liam, your favourite?
Empire Strikes Back.
Why?
It's the best story. It doesn't have a kooky happy ending either. It's quite a dark story. It's interesting. Sort of the characters are a bit more fleshed out after Episode 4 as well. And unfortunately, because of later plot points, there's some cringy moments.
I know what he means.
There's a thing where Luke and Leia
Let me say incest.
I know about that.
And I was like, well, you really watch it, you're like, well, this is awkward. But overall direction and everything, I think it's the best one.
Oh, and that actually reminds me, the best thing was when I worked with a girl called no, actually, I won't mention her name. I worked with a girl and she'd never seen Star Wars.
Yeah.
And obviously I had to get them all to watch Star Wars.
Yeah.
And so I got them to watch the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
And this girl, she knew nothing. She did not know that Luke and Leia were siblings. So she watched A New Hope and she started thinking, oh, I really want Luke and Leia to get together.
No.
They have such good chemistry. And then, when it got to Empire Strikes Back, she said, I can't believe Leia, she's been such a beep. She's totally messing Luke around. I don't get her. She's such an asshole. And yeah, going on like this.
Gonna have to do that
one. And then when we got to Return of the Jedi, and like Luke going, you're my sister. She's like, oh. Yeah, it was a glorious moment.
So, which is your favourite and why? You're gonna have to pick.
You need to have a 30-second time limit on this.
Yeah. Oh god.
TikTok.
Okay, stop it.
Do you want me to put the timer on?
No. Okay, just to be different. Like, if it was either this or Empire, I'm gonna say Force Awakens.
Okay.
I know Liam hates me now, but I just.
It's just wrong.
Like, you can't be objective about film criticism. And I think it's just because it has like the greatest like emotional quality of all the films to me. Like, it's the most human. Like, I think that like the characters in The Force Awakens, I can relate to them as individuals with like feelings and emotions.
Right.
In a way that I can't relate to the characters in the other films so much.
Okay.
Like, there is good character work in the original trilogy, but it does tend to be quite superficial.
Yeah.
And I feel that you get to know the characters on a deeper level in The Force Awakens, and that extends to the heroes and the villains.
Yeah.
Which I really, really appreciate. And I think it lays really great groundwork for the films going forward.
Yeah.
Because it makes me want to know more about all aspects of the story, and it makes me really invested in like questions like, what is Rey's background? Why was this girl abandoned?
Yeah.
Like, will Kylo Ren be redeemed? Will like he go on becoming worse and worse and more evil? Or will he think, I've made a terrible mistake and will he need to go back to the light and start doing good things again?
Okay.
And like, those questions really fascinate me, and they fascinate me to the point that I've started a blog publishing essays exploring these questions.
Yeah.
And while I love the original trilogy, and they'll always have like the nostalgic favoritism in my heart, I can't say those films engaged me or inspired me in the same way that Force Awakens did.
Okay. All right. So, final question. I'm going to go in reverse order again. So, as I have never seen a Star Wars film, and I've never really been interested in watching one. How would you persuade me, or anyone else like me, to watch Star Wars? Why should I watch it? Kirsty?
I'm just going to say it's quite good fun. It's an adventure, and it can be quite funny from what I've seen of them. Thinking particularly of A New Hope here, gotta say. It is an adventure, fantasy. That's what I'm going to say. Because I know what your taste in films are like. Adventure fantasy, there you go.
Liam?
Yeah, it's sort of, I think Rachael summed it up, it's fairy tale in space, technically. And it is a big open world. And yeah, it is fun. And the characters are memorable, which is something you always want. And there's a reason people still do conventions dressed up as all the characters, like 30 odd years on, and it's just iconic. So I would say watch it.
Yeah,
Rachel.
To try and answer this, I need to ask you a quick question.
Okay.
Like, so what kind of stories do you like? Like, what kind of stories do you love the most? Like,
adventure fantasy, normally, so I know that's basically Star Wars.
Yeah. Like, was there anything in the past that like kept you from going to Star Wars? Like, did you look at it and think, that isn't for me for any reason? And if so,
stubbornness. That's what stopped me mainly.
Yeah.
It's the overhype, really.
Yeah, sure.
Because I am that stubborn kind of person, and I know there are plenty of people out there. Kirsty is one.
This is why I still haven't seen the rest of it yet.
Because there's so much hype about it.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I obviously it must be good, otherwise so many people wouldn't watch it, but why does that mean I have to too?
Yeah.
Why is it really so amazing that I have to see it too? That's basically the reason why it happens.
No, and
then, like I said, I've heard so many snippets about, I know quite a bit of the story without even watching it.
I kind of think that to enjoy Star Wars, you need to do what I did the second time I watched The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
You need to try and like suspend that like external noise from your mind. So I know it's hard because obviously it's all deeply ingrained.
Like how you went into Cursed Child.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just watching this as a thing.
It's a fan fiction.
Exactly.
I'm just watching it as a thing.
Yeah. And in a way, I think that's kind of why it would help probably for you to watch Force Awakens first.
Okay.
Rather than go back to the original trilogy. So
obviously there's less preconception about it.
Yeah, it would be less preconception. And the two young heroes of Force Awakens, they kind of believe the stories of the original trilogy. They believe they're like all myths. They don't really have a sense that they're like real things that actually happened. So I think in a way that would almost perfectly mirror your situation.
Quite an interesting way of looking at it.
Because like for you it's kind of like myth and that is like part of popular culture. It's something you don't like properly understand or like follow.
So then by watching The Force Awakens I go, ooh, what's all this stuff and
exactly, yeah. And then like if Force Awakens worked for you, if it really made you like intrigued, like looking at the older characters and thinking, hang on, I want to like see who these were. They were young people. I want to see how they got to this point.
Yeah.
Then at that point you can decide to go back and watch the other films.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think part of the
don't start with the prequels.
No, do not. Do not do what David did.
I've learnt from my lesson.
I think for people who haven't seen them before, that is the most confusing thing.
Yeah. And I think it's also a bit overwhelming for people. It's like when I wrote that list down, you say, gosh, that's a lot of films.
I know there's a
list of 7 films.
Yeah.
And that is kind of why I'm saying to people who are unfamiliar with it, start with Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Because then it's less of a pressure on yourself. And Force Awakens is designed to be watched as a standalone.
Yeah.
You obviously won't get everything out of it that you would if you went with all the prior knowledge.
See, that's why I didn't want to watch it, because I've watched some of the previous ones.
Yeah,
exactly. I know enough that I don't want to watch that till I've seen these.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, I understand that trepidation. But I don't think you absolutely have to have seen the earlier films.
It's more a case of I've seen some of the earlier films and I want to watch. Know what you mean. I want to get the.
You want to finish what you started.
Yeah, I don't want to chop and change quite that much.
Yeah. No,
That's why I want to at least finish the original 3.
In your case, it would probably make more sense to watch Empire Returns Jedi first. But Nasty, maybe just go straight to Force Awakens. Less of time commitment. I think you two can converge.
We'll see. I am planning at some point in the future trying to watch something of Star Wars. But yeah.
So, like, sincerely, like, as a result of this discussion, do you kind of feel like more engaged, more interested potentially in watching these things?
I'm a bit more interested now.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Because it's once again, this is basically hype, but right in front of me. I'm listening to the hype instead.
Yeah.
So once again, it's like, it sounds interesting, but it's Star Wars.
The thing is, another thing about you kind of have a feeling about Star Wars, it's kind of always going to be there.
Yeah.
There's no rush to watch it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, I'll get there one day. But
there's a rush to watch it so you can talk to me about it.
I think it's also, I mean, it comes on TV so often, but whenever it is on, I turn it on like halfway through or right near the end. So I'm like, well, if I was going to watch it, I've missed it now. So.
Not a good plan.
No. I think I'd need the entire plot.
Yes.
And pick the right ones.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think that concludes our episode on Star Wars. To those of you who are still listening, I hope you enjoyed.
You're still there.
Yeah, and we will hopefully have Rachel for future episodes as well.
It was very nice being here. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, great fun.
Excellent.
Okay, so until next time, I'm Natalie.
I'm Kirsty.
I'm Liam.
And I'm Rachel.
And we'll see you next time. Or hear you.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.
So we'll see you next time.
Bye.
When my used up, worn out body is done, I drop it off at the door and say that was fun. Oh yeah, I've been there like swim.
We have an elephant in the room today.
Thanks.
Not actual elephant.
Right, am I close enough to the mic? Tell me.
Yes, if you speak like that.
I might move the mic. And
If
then
we
hopefully
record-
I'll be fine.
Yeah.
If we
Will I be
record
fine?
this,
Yeah.
people could see
Yeah.
how close the mic has to be to you.